Well, one thing about South Florida is when it rains hard, it does not rain for long. So I got like 20 to 30 minutes to get to my spot, and hopefully by the time I'm there, this rain passes. I got a couple cameras to check, and I'm going to take you guys through my step-by-step process on how I find and locate my big deer in South Florida. I have a quota hunt. Oh, I see turkey. For those of you who don't know, a quota hunt is where they basically pick a group of people from a lottery. You know what? Let me get a shot of these turkeys. So as I was saying, I have a quota hunt. They pick people. It's like a lottery, and everyone just picked at random. There's thousands of people that apply, and then like a select few, like maybe 20, 30, 50 people get picked, and then you have to hunt a specific weekend. And I was one of the people who got lucky and got picked for a hunt, and it's in like 2 weeks, and as of right now I have no idea where I want to hunt. I have a couple game cameras set out. One is the cell camera that's not sending me any photos whatsoever, so I got to check that. But I actually like getting outside, whether I'm fishing or hunting. I like getting outside after it rains because everything is moving. I've been hunting for over a decade now, but when I was younger, I could count all the legal deer I saw on one hand throughout my whole life. But over the years, you get better and you start to hone in, and now I get the opportunity at a legal deer every year, knock on wood. I haven't shot one in the last 2 years, and so statistically this year should be a year I get a good deer, but in order for that to happen, I have to put my time in. So that's what we're doing today. I'm going to walk you through my process on how I find these suckers. One thing that really sucks about hunting down here in the swamp is there are gators everywhere. And for a while I thought, oh, I only see gators in the canals and whatnot. I don't see them out here in these marshes. But in the last couple of years, I've had some pretty close encounters. Holy smokes. Holy shit. And if you step on him, he will ruin your day. That is not what you want to do. So you just got to take one step at a time and really know where you're stepping. Because like I said, you do not want to step on a big ass gator in the middle of nowhere. It's really wet out here. It's been raining for weeks, as it usually does at the beginning of archery season down here in Florida. And so I'm going to try to find some higher ground. And deer don't mind getting wet. They'll walk in a swamp all day. When 90% of it is wet, they do like to prioritize higher ground, just to, whether it's to bed or just to hang low. They do like to stay dry sometimes. And so my job is to find high ground. The first rule that I would recommend is you got to scout, and you really got to put your time in. You cannot just come out here and sit on a tree and hope a freaking giant 8-point walks up to you. That's just not how it works. I'll see videos of people up north talking about food sources and, you know, water sources and whatnot, but when you hunt in Florida, there's water everywhere. I mean, there's literally water everywhere, and so I don't think that really applies to the deer down here. And same with food. I mean, there's just food everywhere. They got leaves. I've seen them eat twigs. They got oak trees. They got everything. I mean, I don't know what they don't eat. I mean, they eat a lot of stuff. Food sources and water sources, that's not my thing. My plan is to try and find some high ground. And deer don't mind getting wet. They will walk through wet shit all day. but when it's all wet, they will try to find some higher ground. So as I said, I'm just putting my time in the woods. I'm driving around, I'm walking around, putting out game cameras and whatnot. But I'm looking for sign, and one of the things I look for are rubs and scrapes. This is a rub. They do that in early fall, end of summer, to rub their velvet off. And I should have a game camera photo or two to show you what that looks like. But the way I think of it is like, you know how when a baby is teething, and I imagine like it's itchy for them? Well, that's what it's like for a deer with velvet trying to scrape it off. It goes from fuzzy, and then after a couple weeks of, you know, scrape or rubbing their antlers on a nearby stick or stump or something, it basically scratches it off, that layer of velvet, the layer of fuzziness, and then that's what makes the antlers hard. And they do that every year. Every year they lose their antlers and they grow back a new one, which is pretty cool if you think about it, because they grow them in like a month or two. So those things are freaking just growing very fast. That's why you really want to know what you're trying to find before you come out in the woods. You know, it's important to put your time in, but if you don't know what you're looking for, then you're just wasting your time. And so when I go out here, I'm obviously looking for deer, but their signs are a lot easier to find. And as you saw, that rub, you know, that's good. A scrape is when typically if there's a bush that's like at head level or eye level to a deer, they'll like eat it, they'll rub their horns through it. And then on the ground, if there's a little flat spot that's been like the grass and the leaves have been like scraped off and it's just like a flat piece of dirt, that is a scrape. In my opinion, scrapes are better than rubs as far as what they like to hit. A rub will be, there will be a line of them. It's not linear, but like there will be a rub every 30 or 50 feet, and they do that when they're losing their velvet. But they love their scrapes, and if you can find a scrape with a few rubs around, that is your spot. You hunt that. You just got to know where they're coming and when they're going, and the time and the direction, and then try to coordinate that with the wind on the day of your hunt. And then my other tip, you know, when you're hunting public land, people are everywhere, and now that they have e-bikes, which really suck, for those of us that are walking around, you're not going to outwalk one of those people on an e-bike. So my strategy used to be, you know, get away from the trucks and go as far deep into the woods, but you can't get away from people anymore. And so you don't necessarily have to get away from people, but try to make sure you're not going to hunt near anyone on the day of your hunt. So if you see game cameras in an area, I would just back out, go somewhere else. Because if there's deer there, they'll be hunting there. And if there's not deer there, then you probably don't want to hunt there in the first place. Another little tip that people don't really talk about, but I think if you find big hogs where you're deer hunting, that's a good sign. I know people think that hogs will scare off deer, and yeah, they sometimes will. And, you know, pigs live in swampy areas, and deer like the swamp. They also like dry land. But from over the years of hunting, more often than not, if I get a big buck on my camera, or if I see a big buck, there's typically some big hogs in the area too. And so when I find big hogs, I'm definitely looking for deer sign, because they do hang out with each other. Not, you know, buddy, but they are in the same area. And so I'm just driving around. It's starting to get overcast. It's still like 87 degrees out. But at this point, I drank all my water. I'm just driving around in the cool AC, and I have one more camera with me. I may not put it out, even though I should, because if I don't, it's just going to collect dust in my closet, so we'll see. So I came back, and I only got one buck on my game camera, and it's a good one, but I mean, it's been out there for a week or two, and as I said, that's the only buck I've got. Archery season started down here in South Florida, where I'm at today, and I think I'm going to go out this afternoon, go out. My cousin got a quota, and I'm probably going to film him today if we don't get rained on. That's still up in the air because there is rain coming this afternoon. I just don't know if it's going to be too bad to where we cannot hunt. I hope you guys liked the video. Hopefully we can shoot a couple good deer this year. You know, every year we go out, I ideally let more and more deer walk. You know, I'm after a bigger one, and once I have meat in the freezer, then I'm kind of just head hunting at that point. You know, I really would like to let these younger deer walk. You know, the barely legal 6 points. I'd like to let them walk and make it another year. I'm excited to get out there because it's been way too long for me. Well, thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed it, make sure to subscribe so you can see the next one. See you out there.